Yo, what is up, everybody? Popo here, bringing you guys a new video, and today we're going to take a look at the Charlotte Regionals. Let's go. Welcome, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at the Charlotte Regionals. It was the biggest in-person VGC event that has ever existed, and of course it was won by the one and only Wolfe Glick. After taking a few months off from actually playing competitive in tournaments, he was able to come in, just dominate the field, and win the whole thing. But I kind of want to look over the tournament and kind of see what was trending, what was good, what was bad, maybe see if any of my hot takes took off, which is funny because I really wanted to say Wolfe Glick was going to win the whole thing, but I ended up saying somebody who's never won one before. Because I didn't know if Wolfe Glick was going to be there, and James Beck wasn't at the first one when I predicted that, so I didn't want to, have two predictions like that, so now it seems like I'm just making that up, but I swear, I wanted to pick Wolfe Glick to win the whole thing, and I would have if I knew for 100% that he was going to be there, so I missed my opportunity to do so, but it is what it is. But yeah, I wanted to look at this. Let's take a look at the top 6. I had a couple of these right, mostly wrong, but we have Fluttermane at number 1, of course. 61.66 usage is insane. We had Ogerpon Wellspring as number 2, climbing up that ladder, taking the spots of Chempal last week, who is number 3. We had Incineroar dropping a bunch. We have Tornadus Incarnate with Urshifu Rapid Strike to round out, but we're seeing Urshifu on about 4% of teams that don't have Rapid Strike on it. Raging Bolt surprisingly low. That could see the rise of Rapid Strike a little bit more, but with the usage of, the Farigaraphs going to be skyrocketing after this tournament, I don't know if the Raging Bolt's going to be able to change their playstyle in order to fit a priority move playstyle. We'll see though. There's a good chance. They're also pretty good against the Farafarig. If they can just go for the Calm Mind stuff, they're not bad. We saw Urshifu Single Strike, which I had predicted would be higher than the Rapid Strike. They were very close, so I wasn't too far off on that, so I will take that. Entei, who look at this win percentage, 47. Same with the Raging Bolt, 47% on both of these Pokemon. It's not great. They did have good finishing results, but otherwise not great. We had Amoonguss running up top 10 with 11 being Landorus. Also not a great win percentage, but top finish was 12. And we had Farigarath, who didn't have a great win percentage despite the fact that it was on so many of the good teams. So that means that there were some teams doing really bad with it out there as well. So it's a very hard Pokemon to use is what that kind of tells me. And then we had Rillaboom and Indeedee over here. So these were really close to the top as well. Indeedee had over a 50% win. And we see that it did, that Rillaboom got first and Indeedee actually got 7th. So that's not too bad. Indeedee getting top 8s 2 tournaments in a row is pretty good. Dragonite, however, another 47% win percentage, 13th for Dragonite after being so good a couple of weeks ago. King Gambit, 53% is good. We have Blood Moon at 55. Got 2nd place, of course. This was really good on 9% of teams. The same as Iron Crown, but Iron Crown win percentage was a lot less. Did get 2nd place, though. So not bad. But the biggest surprise here is probably these two. We see Glamora here. 57.78% win percentage, which is the highest of any Pokemon that had a lot of usage. There's a couple of Pokemon that had 2 usages that were way better or whatever. But for a 71.8%, this is huge. Same with Gouging Fire, 55%. Gouging Fire, of course, was in my underrated Mons. Gouging Fire had a terrible showing at the last regionals. I said Gouging Fire would do much better. It ended up getting 3rd place, so we could see it did much better. Also, big surprise was is the Hearthflame, because Hearthflame was only on 7% compared to 40% of the other Ogerpon. and it was on the 2 top teams. So we're going to see a rise in Hearthflame Ogerpon, so be ready for that. We're going to see a lot of Wolfe Glick's team. We'll get to the teams in a second overall. Iron Hands also got second, coming back after not doing much for a little bit, but only 46%. So that means everybody but the second place guy was losing with this thing. We have Whimsicott. 36. This is the highest for any like big usage mon. 36% win percentage for Whimsicott, just shutting down the fact that Whimsicott in the past has been better than Tornadus. Now, nope. 44th place. Torkoal, a big surprise, only finishing 34th place. That really surprises me because Torkoal is pretty decent. Walking Wake, continuing the mid allegations here. Metagross, this was something I said Metagross would get top 8. 74th, 43% win percentage. That is still better than Whimsicott, but not very good. We had Ogerpon 53, that's just base. Hisuian Arcanine did pretty good, got a 4th finish at 55%. That's pretty good. This is another big surprise. I said Dondozo would finish second again. That was one of my hot takes. Nope. Dondozo, despite having 54 win percentage, and everybody was using Tatsugiri Dondozo this time. Nobody just brought Dondozo. 80th. No day 2 finishes for Dondozo. That is crazy. This might be the first time that Dondozo hasn't hit a day 2. I could be completely wrong on that, but that's crazy. And then this is the worst finish for any Pokemon that has been top tier in the past, for sure. We have Landorus. 192nd was the top Landorus T. That is crazy. Landorus T used to be the boy, and now it's just showing that he can't hang. He just can't hang. He's dropping down the ranks. This boy ain't it. Latias, I always thought Latias was pretty meh. I used it on one of my teams because everybody was hyping it up. I've tried it, and I was like, I don't know if it's just this Pokemon doesn't fit for me or what, but yeah, 69th, 43% win percentage. Latias is not it. It was just a new toy syndrome, I'm pretty sure. Regidrago also not making it too high, 67th. A lot has to do with the fact that Fluttermane is the best Pokemon. It does make it harder to use. You have Primarina. I thought Primarina would do a little bit better than this. It had almost a 50% win percentage, but only 115th. Porygon 2 getting top 16, no top 8 finishes. Waiting for that big breakout. We got Annihilate. I'm a huge fan of Annihilate. It did not hold up. 39th place, 48% win. Sinistcha ain't doing it right now. I think a lot of this has to do with Incineroar just being around as well, and Entei, just all these really good fire types right now. 41%, 157th. Sinistcha's kind of lost his day here, and we'll finish it out with talking about like Roaring Moon, who did get 8th place, though overall not great, because we only had 13 and still only had 53. That means most people were not doing well with it, besides the person who got top 8. Same with Smeargle, 54% win, but only only one top finish, and it was 48 and 40, so it wasn't doing really well except for the one team. And there was a surprise Pokemon that was brought that did really well. Let me go to the win rates here. Articuno. There was 2 teams that ran Articuno. They had the exact same moves. They both used Never Melt Ice, which is completely different because the ones that we've seen in the past were all running Snowcloak, so that's really cool. But they were running different teams. I thought at first maybe they were just running the same team. Nope. Somebody was running Shift Tree with it. And the thing still said went 14 and 7. That's pretty good. And it got 30th. So not bad. Of course, Brendan Zhang was using the Iron Jugulus. Did really well. 73, went 11 and 4. Just missing out on top cut there. 27th place. So not bad. We had Murkrow doing pretty good on one team. It was a Dondozo team, 6 and 3, so just missing out. Iron Thorns, boys, getting a 6 and 3 finish. This is probably the best Iron Thorns there has been. I wouldn't imagine that there's been better. He was running Pin Missile. My boy is out here running Pin Missile. But as you can see, out of the high usage Pokemon, Glamora being way ahead with Hisuian Arcanine. Maybe we're going to start seeing some Hisuian Arcanine back again. Gouging Fire, and then the Blood Moon Ursaluna here, finishing it out. Riolu, we had a Riolu team. They only went 5-4, but he did pretty good. It had Ting Lu as well. All right, sorry about that. I got a phone call. It seems every time I'm doing this, like last week, something happens. Can people just leave me alone? Another big usage mon that had good win percentage was that Single Strike. I think Single Strike's really showing how strong it is compared to even the Rapid Strike. Amoonguss had a really good win percentage, so yeah, we see a lot of that. But Articuno really showing up. I'm a big fan of Articuno. I used Articuno before. I really, really like it. Okay, so we got Focus Sash being the #1 item this time. Then we have Assault Vest, Booster Energy as the top 3. I think that was pretty similar. I think Assault Vest was #1 the last time, with Focus Sash #2, Booster. Wellspring, 46% of teams had Wellspring because 47% of teams had... How does that work? Wait, if 47.1% of teams had Ogerpon Wellspring and 46.98... All right, I don't understand, but it's okay. So we can see that these are the most used items. Let's see. Somebody had King's Rock on. Okay, Quick Claw. Where Quick Claw? Where we were running? Ditto Quick Claw. Okay, respect. Toxic Orb. Okay, interesting. Okay, Wiki Berry. Okay, Normal Gem. So okay, somebody's using some explosion strats. I could respect it. They had an Expanding Force TM. They had a Tailwind TM. Okay, sure. Terrain Extender on Indeedee. Somebody was running that. Okay, respect. 2 people were actually running that. Yeah, so there were some interesting ones. I am actually testing this out right now. I really like it. I'm gonna be honest. Okay. So let's get right into it. Water, Fairy, Grass, top 3. I don't think any surprise there. Ivy Cudgel, the top move. Fake Out dropping down. Sucker Punch even taking it out too. Horn Leech. That's just because there was just so many Ogerpons. All right, so we had Wolfe Glick winning the whole tournament, only dropping 1 set, and he dropped it to Stephen May, I think that's how you say it, in like the 13th round or 14th round or something like that. So impressive run by Wolfe Glick, was just destroying everybody besides Nicholas. He also faced my friend Jacob in the 3rd round. Jacob, I believe, took a game off of him. So, you know, Jacob almost took him down early on, but, you know, Wolfe Glick is just different. So, running a pretty standard balanced team. I could see even this team, instead of Rillaboom, having a Amoonguss, but super aggressive team, which is something Wolfe Glick often doesn't run. He usually runs teams that are more bulky and have a lot of like other tools to it, but this is a super aggressive team, and it was really interesting watching him play an aggressive team. So yeah, it was really fun to watch. And then Nicholas, who played extremely well. It could have gone either way in all 3 of those games. It was that close because both players were just playing super aggressive, and it was just like 1 or 2 turn differences where it could have been anybody. And that was the 3rd time they played, so they already had information and knowledge on the whole matchup, and it was really cool to see that play out. That was like late stage like battles and stuff. It was just really cool. Then we had Luca, who did have that Gouging Fire, so one of my hot takes hit, and that was this one. So credit to Luca for bringing that thing up. Then we had Arbin, who, you know, he had the Blood Moon. This is fast Blood Moon, but you can go for Trick Room too. But he had the Hisuian Arcanine, which was a really great finish for that. We had Steven. Steven's team had the Glamora without the Dondozo, so it was interesting seeing Glamora. I think on one of the turns, he could have won if he would have just Meteor Beamed instead of Spiky Shield. There was no reason to really go for Spiky Shield, as Steven was just so far ahead that you just go for the Meteor Beam. You already have the speed control for 2 more turns, so just getting that special attack boost would have been enough, I think. Even if they did protect, which they didn't end up protecting, his opponent, which was Arbin, didn't end up protecting, so would have just got a kill onto, I think it was Tornadus or something, and that Tornadus ended up allowing them to win the game. So next we had Enzo, and Enzo, of course, had that Smeargle. I don't think they brought it into the game. I could be wrong. I don't really remember the match that they showed with Enzo. It's possible that they did bring it, but they were running, Fast Bear. Maybe this had Trick Room. I mean, we could check, right? Let's see. Spore followed me, Wide Guard, Fake Out, so it did not. So this is just strictly Fast Bear with nothing else there. So Fast Bear, interesting. We had Toller, who had the Psy Spam stuff, was unable to get out of 7, just sneaking into the top, by the way, were these 3. And then we had Neil, who was using Double Dragon. Rajan was using Psy Spam too, but also having a Trick Room mode where you can go with the Ursaluna, the regular Ursaluna, not Blood Moon. We had Jordy, who was using Bear as well. No Fast Bear on this one. This was just Trick Room Bear with some fast mons on the team as well. So you can go either fast or slow without having to commit to either. And then we had another Glamora by Kyle without the Dondozo, of course. That was this looks like big damage team. Like, let me just put out as much damage as fast as possible. So a super aggressive team. Will also bringing that Gouging Fire up into 12th place. And we see it has the King Gambit and the Lander's Eye. So pretty unique composition. Here is the top Dragonite by Raghav, and also had Double Dragon because he had the Gouging Fire. Most likely Howl, because there's all physical attackers and Amoonguss on this team. So that would make a lot of sense. Booster Energy, Howl, just get the boost. That's kind of what Luca was doing as well. But Luca did have the Flutter Mane instead of something like Amoonguss, which also adds a special attacking variant to it too. Zizang, who is a local player to me, he plays out of Boston, has a really cool team with the Goldango here with no speed control. So just something a little bit different. 4 physical attackers and then 2 special attackers, 1 with priority. A lot of priority spam. Paul Chua, who played really well using balance, of course, as Paul is known to do. His stream match was fantastic. It was a 2-0, but they were really good games. It just showed Paul Chua being able to just predict everything that Joe was doing. So really cool. We had Scott here. Scott was running the Porygon, the highest Porygon placement. Really interesting team. As you can see, as we're going through, there's no teams that are exactly the same. Every team has at least 1, maybe 2 Pokemon that are just completely different, and that's really cool. Sohib, who also plays out of Boston, with a team that's, you'd probably see last reg with the added bolt here. So, and we'll round it out at 20. We'll go Ashton Cox, who also is running that Gouging Fire. So we see some really good placements for the Gouging Fires. We got the Porygon, so we can set up the Trick Room for stuff like our King Gambit, or if we're just, maybe this is a slower pawn. But I don't really like double grass types. I'm just not a big fan of it. I know this is used as a water type, but I don't know. I just don't like it. Kazuki is running Rain, and of course with that Baxcalibur, a lot of the Rain teams are now throwing that in. And we, of course, have the Archluda there. And then Nick Navarre, who was running a variation, I would say, on what was ran last week with the Scream, or a couple weeks ago with the Scream Tail that got 4th or whatever. Just changed the team up. Doesn't have the Goldango, doesn't have the Regidrago, but has different special attackers here, and then has 2 physical attackers that could benefit from the support. So, really interesting teams that were able to top. And like I said, look at they're just different. Yeah, we see some of the same Pokemon. You know, we see a few giraffes. Of course, we see, you know, a few flutter mains, but overall the team comps are all different. They all play completely differently, and that's really, really cool. And that just shows that the format isn't solved yet, right? It's not solved. So it's a really good place right now to, you know, do some of your locals, or, you know, try out some interesting teams, because you never know, you might find the new tech that could be like the tech. So keep trying things. If you see something cool on the ladder, throw it into your builder, see how it does for you. Like, oh, I just got crushed by this random strat I've never even thought of. Let me try that and throw it in with some other Pokemon that might be good right now, that like are showing promise, like Farigiraf, or, you know, like Hearthflame or Blood Moon, and let me just see how it rolls. Let me see if it feels good, and yeah, do some work with it and see what really happens. And it's a really exciting time. These times early format are really, really exciting, and with people thinking that with the DLC there wasn't going to be really any shakeups, it was just going to feel the same. And if you look at this team, right, this team could have been used last format. This team right here 100% could have been used last format, but it wasn't. It wasn't, because it wasn't as good last format, right? Blood Moon wasn't really good last format. You know, Urshifu Single Strike wasn't really good last format. What makes it good now? Who knows? But it just is. Sometimes that's just the way it is. It just feels better. It just does certain things. You know, Blood Moon's good against, like, you know, the Incineroar. It's good against the Entei and stuff. So they have a place. Of course, we have Incineroar here, but this team could have easily been this team with Arcanine here. So there's a lot of variations that can happen, and this DLC shook it up a lot more than people thought it would. So I'm really excited to see where this format is going. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you guys thumbs it up. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do so. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.